Hello, hello. I'm looking to do a reading today. There are two piles, 3232, and the other pile is angel number 4747. Now, I'm not big on angel numbers or their meanings, but they're numbers that popped up with me several times today in different locations. And so, if any of those numbers mean anything to you, 3232 or 4747, enjoy your reading. So I'm going to start off with 4747. Initially, that was going to be my second channeling because that's something that came through later in the day. However, this message was too strong for me to ignore, and it was kind of getting in the way of things that were coming through for people who've selected 3232. So I'm just going to get that out of the way. There may be a really pushy, dominant energy around you right now. Perhaps you've tried to ignore, or perhaps you've tried to placate. This could be a person, this could be some kind of obligation that you have pushed to the side. For a lot of people, it's actually going to be related to butting heads with a very dominant natured person. Perhaps they are a person of seniority or authority, and it's probably a very good idea to keep your head low. Now, you may be a person who where that's not really in your nature to sit there and take it. Like this could be a nasty, meddling mother-in-law energy, in-laws who are not very supportive of you. But the download that I was getting was in related to career. You could be some kind of trendsetter. You could be an entrepreneur of some kind. You could be a very innovative person, well respected within your field. However, sometimes you come across hostile personalities who are very intelligent, very experienced in their field. But what I'm getting is that you may not be experienced enough to deal with their nonsense. So just because someone has reached a level in the higher echelons, is what I'm hearing, doesn't mean that they cannot be threatened by people perhaps in lower socioeconomic status. Yeah, that's what I'm getting very strongly. They're especially threatened by people they perceive as less experienced, less intelligent, less accomplished. I'm getting accomplishment is really important to them. Being recognized as fantastic and wonderful. The download I'm getting is you may want to bite back and go, well, you're not as, top shit as you think you are. I actually know a thing or two as well. And Spirit's really guiding you to not do that, because this person takes their reputation very seriously. They do not play around. And you are a person who is high integrity, and this is the kind of person that plays the part, but their success has actually come a lot from wounds of their shadow and needing to prove something. So if you challenge them, if you stand toe to toe with this person, you will regret it. And it's because you might be a very prideful person, and you might be the kind of person who's like, I'm not going to take that shit. But Spirit is saying you have to, because this person is very prominent in your, whether it be your family group, or they may be a business associate, a work colleague, but they are above you they are in a senior role, they are above you, they are way more experienced, and they are much more experienced at slinging dirt, slinging mud, and they're the type of person that's very much on the surface like, oh, I hate drama, I'm very straightforward, I'm very serious. But that's to tell you one thing, and so you could be a person who could keep your private concerns to yourself and do the right thing, and all disagreements are private, only for this person to run around to every single person that you know and badmouth you. And you've taken yourself out, you've been that high integrity person, And I know that sounds contradictory because you're like, well, I need to speak up for myself. But I'm saying that you're in the moment before that. You don't want to have to put out spot fires everywhere. You can stop it before it started, because they are very much a very arrogant, prideful person, and there is no, like, they will trash you to everyone, and they don't have to know you very well, but that won't stop them from trashing you. And you know what? I feel that maybe you've even outed this person in some way. Spirit's telling me that there was a circumstance, and this is why it might be actually very tempting for you to out this person almost as a fraud, because Spirit told you to say something that was wrong, like potentially factually wrong. Maybe it wasn't factually wrong, but it was in contrast to the facts of the matter that this person in seniority knew to be true. They know the facts, you know what I'm saying? And this was not actually intended to belittle you in any way or make you feel dumb or make you feel inexperienced. It was actually really important. What I'm getting is to expose them, to expose their limitations. It's like a person who is a tarot reader, is highly successful, has published all of these tarot decks, and then you say something based on your intuition, and it may be wrong, but they turn around and go, oh, how could you possibly know that if I didn't tell you? And this is a person who is supposed to believe in intuition and being psychic, but in that moment, and then they outed themselves as a fraud. I'm trying to think of a Christian preacher who espouses the teachings of Christ, but then it actually reminds me of a clip that I've seen of Cardinal George Pell. You know, we all love that guy, right? He doesn't have any skeletons in his closet. He's dead now, which a lot of people are probably celebrating. But anyway, the point is, there is a clip that I cannot find, and if you can find it, please let me know in the comments where I can find it. Or it was on ABC's Q&A, and Cardinal George Pell appeared on that show, and I really wish I could find this clip. I've searched for it everywhere, but people were quoting the teachings of Jesus Christ about love and compassion, and it may have been in the same-sex marriage debate. And what he said was, what you have to remember is Jesus was just a Jew. And it was something along those lines. It could have been like worse than that, but it was like, he's supposed to be the leader of your faith as a Christian. He's supposed to be a prophet. And that really outed Cardinal George Pell for the fraud that he is. So that's what I'm getting. I'm getting that you outed this person for the fraud that they are. And you may not have even realized at the time the true extent of it, but then there may have been a sign that, oh, another thing, and another reason why you should remove yourself from this person's presence is because they have rised through the ranks through unscrupulous ways. And so, as I was saying before, with that shadow aspect, I feel like this person doesn't acknowledge every good idea comes from them alone. They don't credit anyone, and sometimes that can actually result in either unintentional or intentional taking of ideas, and the people who contributed to that idea not being recognized. And you have some gems that you need to hold on to, some brilliant ideas that you don't need stolen, because you actually deserve to be recognized for those ideas. And when you are recognized for those ideas, be sure to recognize how those ideas came to be and the ideas which came before, which inspired you to bring that new fresh idea into being, because these things don't necessarily come from the ether or spirit. They can, But quite often, in order for spirit to work through you, there's got to be some kind of scaffolding for them to work with. You can't just be a complete blank slate. If you are a complete blank slate and spirit is able to work through you, and that's a very unique, specific skill, and it's extremely rare. More often than not, spirit works based on pre-existing scaffolding. But anyway, I am going to draw a few cards. At this stage, I feel for the majority of people, this person is a person of seniority in your field of work. And if they're not involved in your field of work, they have some kind of impact on your future material abundance if you don't put your pride aside. Sometimes the most brilliant people don't have to tell everybody how brilliant they are. They don't have to tell everybody how brilliant they are. They just are. So, okay, these cards are actually from a friend of mine. She's got her own channel, Air Moon Eras, and her name is Jenna, and she is lovely. She brought me this lovely deck, Necronomicon, and it's based on the Lovecraft universe. Now the 3 cards that I've got is the King of Books. Now, in theory, it could be the King of Swords, but my idea is it's actually going to be the King of Pentacles. So that would really match up with that energy of a person who has accumulated a lot of wealth and abundance, and in this case, I would say their wealth and abundance is very much tied to their knowledge and their expertise, but also all of those books, all of that knowledge and expertise that they accumulated did come from other sources through their culture and their experience and their education, if not just ripping off people directly. I said it. And so I'm getting with, I don't know what the void is. I've already got death. So I'm guessing maybe the void is the world based on the fact 21. It's 21. Is it 21 or 22? I'm pretty sure it's the world is the void. What I am getting is this person that you have crossed is quite a strong, authoritative person. They have gone through a lot of changes from their childhood. I'm going to say they have childhood wounds. This is how they prove themselves. And there is something that you have done in the past. A first impression is very strong, and it's made them feel threatened. It activated that wound, their need to know it all. And they're also very used to that kind of, kowtowing. I hear kowtowing. You didn't kowtow to them. You didn't respect their authority and their status, that you should have behaved in a certain way and knew your place. And they're also used to they're used to people wanting things from them, is what I'm getting. So I'm noticing in the void, it's this, there's like lots of little, I don't know if it's like bubbles of the universe, like if this is like multiverses, I'm not sure. They also kind of remind me of eyes. The void in this circumstance represents the people they are surrounded with. Usually they've got their own goings on, their own little universe. The world revolves around them. So they are like the center of these other people's universes. So I'm getting that they are used to people wanting something from them. Basically being, I don't know how to, arse suckers, grovelers. They're used to people groveling and being like, oh, you're so wonderful, and wanting something from them, and you didn't do that, but they still have this feeling that you are, by not doing that, you've become competition. So yeah, that because you didn't do that, because they couldn't clearly fit you in this little bubble or this little package that was easily understood, easily processed. You weren't exactly the most digestible in your first encounter. That has left a lasting impression on this person. Yeah, so with the King of Books and the Death, yeah, I feel like you may be unaware of like you activating a personal crisis in this person. Again, next to the Void and the World, maybe you're otherworldly and that is what threatens them. You are difficult to read, and because they do not understand you, or subconsciously they see certain elements of you in them that they don't acknowledge, that is what's making them competitive. You should know your place. You should know that they are the King of Books. Okay? You should know that. You should respect their knowledge and their expertise. And it's not that you did not do that, but you didn't do that in a way that they are used to. So I again remind you to look up the angel number 4747, because what I'm getting is that a lot of your knowledge does come from source. A lot of things just come to you instinctively, where you just kind of intuitively understand. There is an anecdote that I love repeating to people where just because you take it for granted that you know something doesn't mean that other people know something, right? And an example of this is I am terrible at a lot of physical sciences, physics, chemistry, that kind of thing. I'm really into the life sciences, but I'm terrible at chemistry. And one of the things that I just assumed that everybody knew was, because it was based on basic physics, was the idea that hot water froze faster than cold or room temperature water. Now that is something that I have known from childhood because it's to do with the movement of molecules. Of course, when they're already highly active, or this is the way I thought, maybe it doesn't work this way exactly, but as from a very young child, my concept based on temperature affecting the activity of atoms, affecting the speed at which they have an affinity, gases being highly active, moving around. My idea was that hot water is already the heat has stirred up all of those atoms and made them highly active, which brings them into a state of a higher likelihood of interacting with other molecules as the temperature changed, and so therefore would develop a higher affinity for each other as they slowed down and formed a crystalline structure. So having that rapid activity actually made it more likely for those crystalline structures that form ice to form. Now that is, and if you're into physics and you're saying that my understanding is wrong, that's fine. But yeah, I'm just using it in this example because that is advanced thought at my, like, it doesn't matter if it's like factually correct, but my point is that that abstract, unique way of thinking was actually way more advanced than I could comprehend at the time. And so you may have just waltzed in there, and this doesn't have to be a work situation, but I feel like it's career related, just because of the dynamic of this relationship. But let's just say that it is a mother-in-law or some kind of in-law that is used to, it could be a sister-in-law, someone who is used to having a lot of control and authority over others in your social group, in your family, your inherited family, or your chosen family. Maybe you exhibited an authority or a confidence or some kind of confidence they perceived as like being controlling or know-it-all or stuck up, and they're like, who do you think you're dealing with? This is my family, this is my house. But you weren't there to threaten anyone. You were just doing your thing. You were just existing within the world, and just you being yourself, being one of these little bubbles in the multiverse. You have your own thing going on, you're living your best life, and you have no idea that you're like blowing up whatever they have going on. A death or a crisis or a change within them. And it's not necessarily a change for the better. Yeah, so I'm noticing the keys. Yeah, I get that this person's used to holding the keys. So again, it's that image of control. Oh, and also he's got his hand on the book. Like, that's usually a symbol of honesty and being upright. So if you go to court and you put your hand on a Bible, even if you're not a religious person, it's like an oath to say, I am honest and I am upright. But I'm getting the opposite with the 4747. In the tarot, 7, if you're talking about the 7 of Swords, you're talking about thieving and deception and underhandedness. And if you're talking about the 7 of Wands, it's like talking about like having the upper hand and people trying to take what's yours. So I feel like your energy is a 4, and it's like this adversarial 4747. It's like your motivation is like the 4 of Cups, or not the 4 of Cups, the 4 of Wands. Yeah, the 4 of Wands is your energy. Or the 4 of Swords. You just want to relax, take it easy, but you're very straightforward. And they feel threatened by that energy. That's what I'm getting. So look up 4747 angel number. I feel that I should mention that you should look up the 4747 for career related readings. But of course, this is your intuition. If you feel that it's in regards to a relationship, a family relationship, that is your intuition. You should trust that. So that's all I have for you today. If you liked it, like it. If you didn't, I don't really care. And subscribe. I'm here either way. Thank you for watching. Hello. This group is if you chose the angel number 3232. That number may be significant to you right now. So the channel message that I am getting for you guys is that you have a vision for your life. And you may be a person who's very capable of doing things alone. You may be very independent-minded. You may not be very good at asking for help. You may feel like you cannot trust or rely on other people in order to bring your visions to life, particularly you like to work alone on your creative pursuits. Or maybe you like engaging or indulging in your passions alone. There might be a sense of loneliness, and I want to say, I got to keep this PG-13 because we are on YouTube, but what I heard before was mixing up the term mukbang with another word. So you may have issues with really neglecting your emotional needs or physical needs, and you're substituting that for a repetitive or stereotyped behavior or addiction. And I want to emphasize addiction. I feel that a lot of your creative energy may be wasted right now. And my nose has just become so itchy. This is something they never tell you about getting a septum piercing. So yeah, what I'm getting is that when you use your energy and your resources wisely, you are actually a really strong creative force, and you are capable of achieving great things. But you may have had some kind of falling out with people that has resulted in some I heard social reclusion, being a bit of a recluse, hermit mode. But you may have like gone deep into hermit mode where you're not even willing to like respond to DMs anymore. Maybe you're a person who was always not really happy to answer the phone, but were always willing to like answer a text even if it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and you are just happy to leave things on read right now. And so the channel message that I'm getting is that is not the right approach for you. You're going to fall out of practice. And what I hear is, sometimes, look, you may be a brilliant, creative, intelligent person, and there's a lot of things that you can achieve on your own. But at this particular time, you need to focus on how to actually meet your emotional needs. Feel that you're experiencing emotional neglect, that you're neglecting your own needs, and it's not that other people aren't willing to, but perhaps after a series of disappointments or people leaving you high and dry or letting you down, what I hear, and I don't know if, piss on you and tell you it's raining. So I don't know if that's something that you've had to deal with in the past, and you're like, well, the easiest way to not deal with people being abusive and letting you down is to not deal with people. And I certainly can empathize with that. I totally understand where you're coming from. However, I'm hearing that you actually need a lot of support right now, a lot of emotional support, and it's actually very strongly tied to your life mission your purpose, and that you have a lot of good ideas, and that in order for you to bring that good into the world, you are a good ideas person, but you're not very good at implementing them. And so in order to have success in your life, you need the help and support of others. And the problem hasn't been that you have trusted people, it's the fact that you ignored your intuition, and you ignored the fact that you didn't trust these people, and you shouldn't have trusted them. So you were right, but you're also punishing yourself for being right, and you're going, well, I'm obviously not a good judge of character. But I think that if you think back, there were a lot of red flags that you chose to ignore. So I want to point out to you that you are actually very in tune with your intuition, and it was more of an issue of boundaries and not acknowledging the red flags and moving on when necessary. That is what the lesson was, not for you to recede from society, but to choose better. You needed to choose better. And so what I'm getting is perhaps angel number 3232 is about you picking the wrong people, particularly in relationships, because 2 is the number of union and relationships, partnerships, etc. And 3 is creative energy. So what effort are you putting into relationships that just aren't working out? That's what I'm getting. I think that you should look up angel number 3232 to get your own meaning. Yeah, so if that resonates with you, you should leave how that resonates with you in the comments. Obviously, you're not necessarily going to want to claim that message, but please claim the lesson that it's okay to love and it's okay to trust, but it's not okay to ignore your intuition. It's not okay to continue things when those things make you feel uncomfortable and you know that something isn't quite right. Because after all, if you withdraw at the right time, then you can assess other people's behavior and how they react to you withdrawing your energy. Energy vampirism, if you've got a whole bunch of energy vampires and abusive people around you, if you withdraw for a certain period of time, if you have loving people around you, they're going to check in on you and they're going to wonder what happened to you, are you okay? But if you have energy vampires around you, you will only have people checking in when they want to see what you're up to and that they seem to want something. It's more of a nosy, meddling kind of energy. It's different, and you'll be able to sense it in the language that they use. It's got a more of a I want to tell everybody your business kind of feel rather than actual genuine concern. And they may even act abusive towards you, act like your withdrawing is like an affront to them, an insult to them. Your emotions are not important. Your absence and how that's made them feel is important. These are some red flags that you may have noticed but ignored. So, is there anything else, Spirit, in regards to that message? I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to take some cards. This deck is Necronomicon. It's based on the Lovecraftian universe. It was generously donated to me from a friend. Her name is Jenna, and she has the channel Air Moon Heiress. So she does tarot readings on YouTube. If that sounds like something that interests you, check her out. Anyway, oh, I had a heaviness then. I was like, whew. Yeah, so you may be a person, based on that heaviness, that puts others before yourself. Okay, so I'm getting two cards in reverse. I'm getting change in reverse, which is the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, and also the Six of Beakers, which is in reverse. It's in the Rider-Waite, that would be the reverse Six of Cups. So what I'm getting, oh, and also the Page of Pentacles. Very beautiful cards. A bit dark for some. So I'm going to put the Page of Pentacles aside for the time being. But what I'm getting from the Wheel of Fortune in reverse and the Six of Beakers in reverse, you may have been through a lot of toxic cycles. People giving you crumbs is what I'm hearing. Giving you crumbs. And that might be the reason for your social withdrawal and your reclusiveness, your social isolation. So I'm getting almost like a Five of Pentacles vibe from this. But yeah, Five of Pentacles in my mind, but the Six of Cups in reverse is like this energy of people giving to you, but giving to you at a cost, or expecting something in return, or putting their hand out to you and expecting more than what they give. And Wheel of Fortune is very much not feeling like, when it's in reverse, I feel like when you are around these particular personalities, you don't feel a lot of control in your life. And I think that that's strongly due to the lack of boundaries. And as you can see from this picture, she's got multiple pots, and in those pots she's taking something out. It kind of looks like, I don't know a lot about the Lovecraftian universe, but it looks like a giant seed, and I feel like due to her green eyes that she may be possessed and therefore by some kind of plant demon, and that may be what's controlling her and making her sow these seeds. From that, what I'm getting is that you don't feel a lot of control with the Wheel of Fortune and in reverse and the Six of Cups in reverse. You don't feel a lot of control. You feel like your fate and your abundance and what you should receive in this life is largely determined by other people. And the people around you are very simple-minded, very small-minded. And yeah, I'm getting an energy of feeling used and underappreciated Is there anything else, Spirit? You need to take command. You need to take control of your own ship. And I also heard take control of your own shit. So, so that could be, because what your shit has to offer could sow something. So there's a lotus to come out. You know, from this boundary of no more, I feel like there's going to be a moment of clarity, almost like an enlightenment. And all of those bad habits that you have, that I mentioned earlier, that may be out of loneliness, that 5 of Pentacles energy. You might be a person who sits around and watches mukbang videos in order to feel a sense of connection and community at the expense of actually reaching out and having that connection and community, because you don't trust that, because it's burnt you before and it's something that you don't want to be burnt by again. So you just take the simple way out. You may have needs that are met not through physical connection or emotional connection, but through an internet connection. And an internet connection is not the same thing. Is there anything else? There we go. There's confirmation. The card for manipulation. So I presume, because that's number 1, that is the Magician, but I heard Machiavellian. So you've been moved around a lot. Now, I don't know if that is in the sense that you've been physically moved around, that like as a childhood you lacked stability. Hi. Hello. Howdy. I'm good. But yeah, so I don't know if that is due to lack of stability during childhood, that you have become more reclusive. So what I'm really noticing in this image with the Magician is he's got all 4 elements, but he has those candles a little bit too close to those books. What I'm also getting, oh, another card fell down. What I'm also getting from the Magician card is he's got his hands poised, ready to act, but what is he acting towards? What strings is he trying to pull? What is he trying to manipulate? What is he trying to pull? I feel like you had a relationship that broke down due to a mask falling off, and this person was very manipulative, and that is why you are very socially isolated right now, keeping to yourself, not trusting. But you need to actually trust your level of discernment. You were able to see things for the way that they truly were, even when there was a lot of illusion, there was a lot of deception around. You seeing a lot of things that they wanted you to see, not really the truth of the matter, lots of mirages, lots of very enchanting, very good with words, very commanding, very competent at what they were doing. And you were able to see through that. But now it is time to basically come out of your shell again, leave the house, make real connections, not just connections that are online. I feel like the period of mourning this particular devastation or this betrayal is over. And, you know, for a while it's the fault of the other person. But after a while, it becomes your responsibility to take control of your life. This person should not continue to control you, not continue to control your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. And perhaps you've lost your sweetness. Like I said, perhaps you have, because of this person, you've actually started to engage in negative self-defeating behaviors that actually make you further more lonely, more isolated, and make it difficult to break out of that pattern. Maybe there's some kind of, like I said, addiction to a certain way of being that is unhealthy because it's comforting in the moment. So I hope that was helpful to you. I actually feel really depressed and depleted. And when you are feeling that way, the last thing you want to do is go outside and go for a walk. You'd rather just rug up in your nice cozy bed, nice and warm, What I'm actually seeing is a person who rugs up in blankets but has the air conditioning on like the lowest temperature, and then instead of just increasing the temperature to make themselves more comfortable, they just rug up in a blanket. They accept the lower temperature instead of just getting up and changing the temperature themselves on the thermostat. So that might be you. So yeah, that's all I have for you today. If you liked it, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. I hope this reading helped you somewhat. And don't forget to check out 3232, the angel number, 3232. And if you see 3232 after this reading, that is confirmation that this reading was for you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.